In yesterday's game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Bronny James got an extended look and the Los Angeles Lakers rookie guard ended up doing a really good job. And today we're going to talk about what this guy showed on tape. I'm excited to really get into this one. Let's jump right into this. So yesterday, Bronny James obviously ended up scoring 17 points for the Los Angeles Lakers. But it wasn't just the points that he scored, it was how he scored. How he finished, how he was able to get to the basket, how he changed up his hands from left to right hand when it came to being able to score, how he was able to stop himself, rather it was a jump shot or a floater, depending on who's kind of down there. The guy was able to score at will, and what's crazy is Bronny James, from a usage percentage, really didn't touch the ball all that much, right? He started to touch the ball a little bit more in the fourth quarter, but early on in the game, right, keep in mind, he was inserted in the lineup with about 5 minutes left in the first quarter. He did not really touch the ball a whole lot, right? He was mostly used as a spot-up shooter, which doesn't make sense because based off of what we saw kind of yesterday, his spot-up shooting wasn't the best relative to how he was able to create and score points himself. A great example of that was this play in which it starts on the defensive side. You're going to see that Bronny does a really nice job boxing out Chris Livingston. The Lakers get the rebound. Bronny instantly gets the ball, and he's basically going to drive this right down the court, and he's going to score the bucket. But what sticks out to me is when you slow this play down. Bronny has two guys in front of him. Neither of the two guys really commit, and Bronny's dribbling with his left hand. As one of the guys, the guy to his left specifically, tries to swipe at the ball, Bronny switches to the right hand. He drives, he splits that double team right there. He goes up, makes contact. He's going up with the right hand, but he ends up finishing with the left hand. To me, that's a really nice play to be able to kind of watch in slow motion. Because there's the dribble factor, there's the creating factor, there's the split, the double team, and going up, making contact, and finishing. Right? To me, that's a really nice play by Bronny. But if you guys watch all of this guy's points that he ultimately scored, all the times he was able to dribble, the guy kept it honest, and he's just making the smart plays. Right? There are multiple plays where this guy drove, and he went in with the left hand because it made sense. There are moments where he went up with the right hand, and he finished with his right hand because that made sense. There are moments where he stopped himself and he floated the ball over a guy that might be a little bit taller. It made sense for him to ultimately attack the way he ultimately decided to attack. Right? Bronny James, to me, does a really good job creating points and scoring off the dribble. And I think that was one of the things that stuck out to me right away with when I rewatched that game. Right? When I rewatched the tape, it stood out to me right away. This guy can score. And even when it comes to his three-point shooting, he was 2 of 4 when it came to shooting from the three-point line. And what's interesting is the 2 3-pointers that he made were both off the dribble, right? He was dribbling the ball. He was kind of in rhythm as he took the shots. And the 2 that he missed, they're actually catch and shoot opportunities. So again, it's kind of interesting because Bronny James in the first 3 quarters of that game yesterday against the Bucks was mostly used as stand there, catch the ball, try to shoot. And it really didn't work for him and the Lakers, generally speaking. And when he was able to create in the fourth quarter, he ended up scoring a lot more points. I think the Lakers have to give this guy another opportunity at some point and let him create. Let's see what this guy can do with the ball in his hands. Because especially when the game continued to go on, especially in the fourth quarter as he had the ball, this guy had a couple of really nice plays. And again, awareness, right? To me, to be a good basketball player, awareness, IQ is easily going to be the biggest factor. There's a couple of plays that I want to show you guys. This first one here, you're going to get a missed shot by the Bucks. Alex Len does a good job tapping the ball. Bronny catches it. And Bronny sees Morris running down the court. And he ends up putting the ball in the perfect spot. He puts it high where Morris can outjump the defender. Morris catches the pass and he ends up scoring 2 points. But it starts with Bronny James as soon as he gets the ball in his hands to be able to recognize and kind of see and have that vision down court. Right, being able to throw the ball 40, 50, 60 feet down court and be able to give his guy that opportunity. He had another play very similar where he saw it a lot quicker than I think the defense reacted to it. Similar situation, he got the ball. He ended up seeing that Morris was down the court. He put a really nice pass to Morris. Now, it wasn't as nice as where Morris was able to kind of outjump the defender. He caught it within the paint and he scored. This one was obviously a little bit different where Morris ends up getting the ball at around the 3-point line. He tries driving, ends up getting blocked, doesn't score, but the pass was still a nice pass. And more than just the pass, right? It's the vision. It's the IQ to try to score fast points. The defense might not be ready, but LeBron James' son, ends up having that same vision that LeBron James has, right? It's that ability to recognize guys downfield and getting the ball to the spot. To me, what I saw from Bronny yesterday was very, very impressive. And again, it's the little things that really stick out and really flash. There's another moment, and this one's really not that big of a deal, but it just kind of goes to show you that this guy's smart. There was a moment in which Bronny was trying to get the ball to Alex Len. I think it was a pick situation that kind of happened. And instead of throwing the ball high, he ends up bouncing it. And Alex Len gets the bounce pass, and he's able to go up the right hand and score. Now, what's important about this play here is, yeah, it just looks like a normal pass. But, if you throw this ball high, this ball gets intercepted by the defender or gets tipped. Something happens if you try throwing this high based off the leverage that the defender has. So Bronny recognizes that this pass needs to be a bounce pass. It has to go low. And he does a really nice job with it. Really nice job being able to get the ball out there. And of course, Alex Len finishes. There were moments in the game when, especially in the fourth quarter, JJ Redick actually called some plays for Bronny James. And we kind of saw it actually happening. We kind of saw it coming together. There was a moment in which Bronny had the ball. He was dribbling. And Dalton Knecht was going to essentially screened for Bronny James, and that's at least what the defense thought, and they knew that, hey, we're going to switch this. But instead of Dalton Knecht actually giving Bronny James the screen, he ends up doing a go screen, right? He ends up faking the screen essentially, and he slips. And as soon as he slips and Bronny goes to his right, both defenders kind of get stuck, and Bronny quickly recognizes it. He gets the ball to Dalton Knecht, and Knecht hits a wide open three. To me, it's little things like that where Bronny recognizes and is able to get his guys open. Now, we do also have to realize, from a usage perspective, Bronny James's usage is only 19.2% compared to Dalton Knecht at 28%, even Alex Len at 27.9%. Those guys got the ball a lot more, and they took a lot more attempts. They had more touches as well than did Bronny. Bronny was at 19.2% when it came to the usage. So what that tells me is, especially in the first three quarters, and the tape definitely backs it up, Bronny was not trying to score as much, right? It was mostly be a catch and shooter, right? And I think for the Lakers, I think they're also kind of at this point where, Bronny's probably not going to play a whole lot from this point forward. There was an update from Coach Redick earlier today that the Lakers do expect Rui Hachimura and LeBron to most likely play on Saturday. It's not guaranteed, but there's a high chance that both of those guys will end up playing. And I almost think the fact that they gave Austin Reeves and Luka the day off against the Bucks yesterday, I almost think this entire thing was kind of planned. Hey, we have three guys that are on two-way contracts. If we want to keep any of these three guys, we need to figure out which guys need to be here and which guys we should ultimately, end up releasing. An example would be a guy like Cam Reddish, who hasn't played a whole lot for the Lakers. But yesterday, for the first time, the guy played 8 minutes. Alex Len hasn't played a whole lot for the Lakers either, right? And yesterday he played, and he looked really good yesterday for the Lakers as well. In fact, I think Len ended up keeping his job based off of what he kind of showed yesterday. But it was important to see Alex Len because you have guys like Trey Jemison, right? Christian Koloko. You have these two guys that are on two-way contracts that if you want them to be active during the playoffs, you have 9 games left to assess these guys. And I think yesterday's game was the game they wanted to see if Alex Len had what it took. I also think Jordan Goodwin's another guy they're going to definitely keep around. And I think it's a part of why Shake Milton as well as Cam Reddish played a lot. Lakers wanted to figure out which guy needs to stay, which guy's going to ultimately get released. But my point in saying all that is, I think at this point, it's basically playoff basketball for the Lakers going forward, right? I think there's like 13 or 14 games left before the playoffs actually come around. I think every game this point forward, unless it's a blowout, we're not going to see any of these backup caliber players play, right? I don't think, if Trey Jemison's on the roster in let's say 9 games from now or 10 games from now, I don't think he'll be playing a whole lot. Same with Bronny James. But I did like what Bronny James did show, and I do think there's some developmental upside with this guy. He's 20 years old. His father's one of the greatest players ever, and this guy grew up recognizing what his father did every single day, right? The workout, the training, the tape, the film. And you definitely see a lot of LeBron in Bronny from the mental aspect, right? And I will say that Bronny James does have to continue to to improve on the defensive side. He definitely did look overwhelmed at times. There were moments when there were like screens and he switched, but he shouldn't have switched. There are moments where he should have switched and he didn't. And there were moments where he just, looked a little overwhelmed, right? And there were also moments where like he didn't box out his guy and then his guy gets the offensive rebound. So there's little things that Bronny has to continue to clean up. Now we do have to realize this is his first time in the NBA. And, was Bronny overdrafted, right? Should he have even been a second round pick? That's a question for you guys to answer. But I will say this. He is smart. Even on the defensive side, he does do a good job getting his hands into the faces of the guys that are shooting the ball. I think there's real developmental upside with Bronny James, and I'm excited to see what he can develop into. Right, when Bronny plays in the G League, he's one of the best players for the Lakers in the G League, right? And I think, yes, the G League, but that's what's going to translate as you get into the NBA. That's what allows guys to develop. It's why Austin Reeves went from basically being overlooked. Even when he signed with the Lakers, he was overlooked as hell. People are like, why the hell did the Lakers, get this guy and bring him in? To now, he's arguably the third best option in the NBA, right? The best third option in the NBA. It's why a guy like Jackson Hayes, who was a top 10 pick, it's why he struggled, but he developed into a good basketball player, and he's a really, really solid player at this point. It's why guys like Jordan Goodwin might end up taking the roster spot of Cam Reddish, right? You don't kind of want to let this guy leave, and you might need him, especially for his defensive efforts in the playoffs, right? Bronny James has some upside. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also want to just say really quickly, shout out to Sean and the team that he coaches. They have a state championship game tonight, so good luck to them. Hopefully it works out and they get that W. And shout out to all of you guys that watched this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.